Hello and welcome to the DecisionWise Engaging People podcast. This is Charles Rogel. I'm a senior consultant here at DecisionWise. I'll be moderating today's discussion. Joining me is Christian Nielson, our Vice President of Consulting Services.
Hey, Charles.
Today we're going to be talking about connection, and we measure this a couple of ways on our employee survey to understand how connected people are to the organization. And there's basically two simple questions. One is, I feel like I belong here. And another one is, I'm comfortable in this organization's culture. So, Christian, do you want to take a moment to kind of describe what we're talking about here and why it matters?
Yeah, this is one of the most interesting areas of the survey. You know, I mention this on probably every time we talk, Charles, but we use this model, engagement magic here at DecisionWise. Engagement magic stands for meaning, autonomy, growth, impact, and connection, these keys that drive engagement. And connection is what we're talking about with this sense of belonging and feeling like we're part of something bigger than ourselves, a team, an organization, a mission, those types of things. And it's interesting because as we do statistical drivers of what's influencing engagement, that question you mentioned, I feel like I belong here, consistently shows up as one of the number one drivers. So we might even think of magic with the C for connection being a little bit bigger than some of the other areas. Yeah. It's an interesting element, and so we also think through Maslow's hierarchy. We start at the bottom, physiological needs, food, shelter, those types of things. And beyond that, safety, the next level up, personal security, those types of things. And then the third level is love and belonging. And interestingly, there's a case to be made that it's actually even more important than that, or it should come sooner in the hierarchy. Yeah. Because if you think through, people with an eating disorder will forego physiological needs to try to belong or to connect. And so, won't go down that path too far here. But
right. There's a lot of terrible things that happen without it.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, very true. But it does underscore the point that we all want to belong. We all want to connect to something just beyond ourselves. And so when we're part of a modern work environment, that's a key need for us to, in our employee experience, to feel like we're connecting to something beyond ourselves, beyond just the role itself.
So we notice on our employee surveys that typically at the team level, there's a strong sense of teamwork, probably connection. People usually respond that they get along with the people that they work with. There's good collaboration at the team level. But it's usually kind of at the organization level where we see lower scores. So what are some of the causes where employees might feel less connected to the organization?
Yeah, we do a lot of research on this too, look at different correlations. Once we see this, I feel like I belong here is a driver, we look at the questions that are influencing it. And so we see a lot of things around this organization cares about employees. Okay. We also see elements around, do I have growth opportunities, and do I find a sense of meaning and purpose? One thing I like, the way I articulate it is, we want to feel like we have some kind of sense of shared future together. Okay. And so we also see the elements of, I believe this organization has a successful future, those types of things. We believe the organization is headed to a big or a good place. We believe that there are growth opportunities for us within this organization, and that we're in it together, as well as we believe that the organization cares and understands, or at least acknowledges me as an individual. That those elements all tie together in terms of when an employee feels like they belong. And it's another interesting angle or area around this. I feel like I belong here is there's almost a case to be made that what we're not building engagement, we are building belonging, and then engagement comes out of that. Where if we think through a very simplified version of a definition of engagement, when we're engaged, we feel like we can bring more of our best selves to the role. Well, when we feel like we belong, then we start to bring more of our better efforts, our discretionary efforts, our ideas and innovation, those types of things that we get from employee engagement. And so it is important to understand, well, what are we doing to help build a sense of belonging and inclusion within our organization so that we can invite people to engage in what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, because you don't want employees to kind of feel like the misfit. Sometimes, you wonder, like working with organizations that have strong missions or do nonprofit work or volunteer work, people join those types of organizations to fulfill the mission. They feel very dedicated to the vision and the strategy of that organization because it's inspiring to them and something they want to dedicate their lives to. Others, sometimes we see high scores even in a manufacturing organization that might be making industrial chemicals or something, but still they feel like a strong sense of mission. So it's interesting because in the book Magic, we describe the 5 ways people connect. They can connect socially, which is the one we think of most often. But you can also connect at the task level. The type of work that you're doing connects you to the organization. At the organization level, the brand of the organization, the mission we just touched on, and the vision, which are kind of 2 different things. The mission is really what you're all about and trying to accomplish, and the vision is kind of how you're going to get there.
And I think it's really interesting to break out belonging or the connection element in those different categories, because some of those happen, I think, a little more organically.
Yeah.
You put people in a team, and generally they start liking to work with each other. In fact, the highest dimension in a lot of our surveys ends up being those questions that are at the team level. Do I like working with our team? We share and collaborate as a team, our team, our team, our team. And that's really great and an important, rewarding aspect of the employee experience. What's less organic or less happens by chance is a connection at that organization level or to the mission and to the brand. And that's where a manager can play a real key role. Their job is to get the team up and running and doing the job and delivering on objectives and those things, but also to connect them back to the purpose of the organization. This is how all of what we're doing is part of a greater whole, and how we support other teams, how we're accomplishing the mission of the organization. And the more they can do that and do it in an authentic way where they're not just a propaganda machine, the more they can create a more complete feeling of belonging and check more of those 5 different categories you mentioned, and help build a deeper sense of connection to the
So what are some things a manager then can do to help build connection? Is it more pizza parties every once in a while, or the one-on-ones? Where can they help connect the dots?
Well, shame on me if I'm the person that says fewer pizza parties.
Trust falls, river rafting experiences.
Trust falls into pizza. It's something I recommend consistently, but one-on-ones are great. And in those one-on-ones, doing more of the recognizing and talking about what's happening on the team, but also connecting the individual's efforts back to the organization, talking about growth and development, demonstrating that they are cared for as a person. Those types of things are great activities in the one-on-ones. It doesn't have to be really complicated, though. All those things I just mentioned can happen in a very short and organic conversation, but consistently having those meetings goes a long ways to building this, as well as in the team meeting, looking for opportunities to tell stories, celebrate successes, and connect the dots back to how our team is part of the organizational success, those types of things.
Yeah. So it's interesting because as you talk about one-on-ones, as a manager, if you're talking about their career advancement and where they see themselves in the organization 5 years from now, so to speak, that really kind of cements in their mind their place, where their opportunities. They can kind of envision maybe their future a little bit more clearly, because I think most employees don't necessarily think about it that often.
Yeah, they don't, and a lot of times we need someone to help paint that picture for us. If you think through the successes in your own career, a lot of times we're in the roles we're in because someone saw more was possible in us than we maybe saw ourselves, and painted that picture. And that goes a long way for growth and development, but it also gives this deeper sense of belonging when we can see that future together.
Definitely. Great. Well, Kristen, anything else that you'd like to add to this topic about building connection?
No, just kind of underscore its importance consistently. I don't remember the last organization I worked with where this wasn't one of the statistical drivers of engagement. It matters. We're trying to build this sense of connection and this deep invitation to be part of an organization. And I think as managers, as HR leaders, I really understand that and incorporate that into their approach and interactions with managers and leadership. I think it can go a long ways to build engagement.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And Christian, thank you very much for your advice. Everyone have a great day. Hey, this is Charles again. I just wanted to make you aware of our new Engagement Magic online training. If you'd like to learn more information about it, go to engagementmagic.com. There you'll see video explanation as well as an online self-assessment that you can take to measure your own level of engagement. The training itself is designed to help employees and managers own their own engagement and learn the 5 keys that really drive engagement in their work so they can be more successful and happy in their jobs. Thanks, everyone.